I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's 4 board members here tonight. I understand that board member Butchie Burns is in the hospital and hopefully going to get out in the next day or so. Had some issue that cropped up with blood pressure. All right. We're at the organizational part of selecting a vice president. I checked the county policy, had Robin check it as well. We really don't have anything as far as how to go about electing. Robert's Rules of Order gives us a great deal of leeway and for a small board like this. So we'll let informality go. First of all, we can maybe save ourselves some back and forth if we just say, is there anybody that does not want to be, what's up first, vice president of the board? Donna does not want to be, all right? So how this nomination process works is that you can nominate yourself. Someone else can nominate you. If the floor will be open for nominations, if person A is nominated and then person B is nominated, we'll vote on person A first, and if they get 3 votes, they're the vice president. If they don't get 3 votes, then next person's up for a vote. So that kind of clear to everybody how we're going to do this. Okay, if that's so, and a nomination does not require a second, you can just, and like I say, you can nominate yourself. So with that, the floor is open for nominations.
Should we do the first part? Do we have to do this part right here first or not? To go into the organizational action, or I don't know what it's set up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
No, that's the actual,
It's okay.
well, that's the way we used to do it. I don't know, that's,
I make a motion that we go into the organizational action.
okay.
Clear.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed? Okay. Now we're up again for the vice president. So the floor is open for nominations.
Dana Snyder.
Dana Snyder has been nominated. Is any other nomination? If not, I will ask that the nominations be closed. If that, we'll have Dana Snyder up for vice president. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, first of all, let's have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Do I have a motion for Dana Snyder as vice president?
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, well, same process for the election of the Mountain State Educational Services Cooperative Representative. That's meeting once a month in Dunbar for 2 or 3 hours, kind of in the middle of the day. I can tell you right now, I can't make that. I can't do that myself, so I'm out of that.
Can you do it?
Usually on a
not-
Wednesday.
Not during the day.
Mr. Wilson,
No, I can't.
you
do
can't
it during-
make it?
Not during the day, no.
okay. So you two, what's the question?
Agree to run. on
Okay,
this one.
I'll make a motion.
There's nobody
Okay.
else it looks like, so.
Mr. Snyder has nominated Ms. Martin, and it does not need a second. So with that, any others? Any other nominations? If not, I move that the nominations be closed. And so we have Donna Martin as the nominee for Mountain State Representative. Do I have a motion? Mr. Snyder?
So moved.
Second.
Wilson makes a motion, Snyder seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I need a motion and a second to adjourn the special session until 30 seconds.
So moved. So moved.
Snyder,
Second.
Wilson, and the time is 6:05. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, that takes us into, I call to order the regular Board of Education meeting. Again, taking place on February the 20th at the county office. We will forego the pledge because we just had that. We've got representations and reports. I don't see Mr. John Smith here. Maybe he'll come in later.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about, as far as the vape detectors. We have vape detectors up and running in 3 buildings. Guyan Valley is gonna take a little more love and care because they have to, we have to hook those up wirelessly. There's something networking issue over there that we couldn't get them to operate properly. But the vape detectors that were donated to us, they're up and running in 3 of the 4 middle schools.
Okay.
3 of the 4 middle schools. Yeah.
Okay, up next is Joni Shortridge. Ready?
Yeah, I'm back, right? So we recently wrapped up our second diagnostic for the school year, and I just wanted to kind of come and present the data. Gave it to you in a couple ways. I know you had requested first grade from last year and this year. I wish I had better reports. As far as reading goes, first grade pretty much stayed the same. There was no growth, but no decline. And for math, we actually dropped from 24% to 20% in first grade classrooms.
You know, the reason I wanted that was to be able to see if the classroom aides made any difference.
I think during like our walkthroughs, we're out in the schools pretty much every day. We've seen a decrease in behaviors and concerns in that aspect. We are still kind of in the final stages of getting everyone trained. We've conducted several trainings for the ECATs in general, and we'll do that again for this summer. So they've received some training on managing difficult behaviors as well as Ashlock intervention. So they are now part of our intervention program for reading. As far as the county goes, we did see some positives. If you look at the next set of data for our reading, we've increased from 28% to 29%. I know that's not a huge growth.
What grade are you looking at? First
That's total county, so K through 8.
grade? Looking for that.
Sorry, I probably should have labeled them better. It's hard to kind of read. If you look at the top, it says all schools reading.
Okay, I got you.
And so I gave you both. I gave you 2022, which was last school year first, so you could compare. And I also, if you look, it breaks it down by domain and by school. So it gives you a little bit of a picture as far as that goes. So we had a 1% growth compared to where we were this time last year. And then we had a 2% growth in math from where we were last year. It's not nearly what we had hoped. Our strategic plan goal, of course, was to increase by 5% in ELA and math, but the good news is we didn't decline as a whole.
Can I interrupt you?
Sure, sure.
I'm looking at all schools for
Mhm.
first grade.
Of the first grade, okay.
Okay. All schools, we have 47 kids early on grade level to mid or above grade level, 47. We have 151 that is anywhere from 1 to 2 or 2 grade levels behind. That's first grade. We're mid-year. Those are crisis numbers.
Are you looking at reading?
Math, I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
looking at math.
And you're looking at this school year's math,
Yes.
correct? Okay. So you're looking at the red, meaning 2 or more two grade levels below the 10 students, or?
Yeah, 10, there's 10 that's, or 9, that's 2 grade levels below. And 2 grade levels below puts the first grader back in preschool. Um, But we've got 142 that's still on the kindergarten level, mid-year of the first grade year. That, we got 47 that's operating on a first grade level or close to it. That's alarming. I don't have a solution. I'm just,
Right.
that's for the math part.
Are you looking at 2023 for math?
22, 23.
Okay, that's last year. Yeah, I
okay.
put to show the
All right,
comparison.
let me
That's
get,
why I was-
let me
Yeah.
get up to date with you
Okay.
here then.
So if you look at 2023, in math, there's not that, there's not growth in first grade. Now, remember, it's a different group of students. We have a lot of special ed and a lot of behaviors. I'm not saying that that's an excuse. I'm just saying that is a little different group than what we had last year. But if you look, there's 10 students that are 2 grade levels below. Do you want?
I still
I
don't,
can help
I
you.
can't find we got one for the whole county.
So if you look at the top right here. So this is last year.
Yeah.
And then this is this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't turn
This
it
is-
far
that's
enough.
Okay, this is math, and then this is reading.
Okay, all
If
right,
that helps. Now. you're
let me
ready
look at
first.
this
And
year.
then this is the picture of,
Okay,
so this is first grade, if that's what you're wanting to look at.
okay,
Okay, these two are first grade. That's the whole county,
okay.
all grade levels.
Okay, well, I'm still looking here at 370 kids early on grade level and 1,400 plus 1 or more grades behind. That's even more alarming.
Right.
370 kids are on grade level and 1,400 plus are anywhere from 1 to 3 levels behind.
You're looking at reading.
I'm looking at math.
2023, and you're looking at math, correct?
22,
sorry.
23, or 23, 24?
I'm looking at 23, 24 for math,
23,
all
24.
schools.
Okay.
Okay,
Then when I look at reading, 23, 24, we've got 547 on grade level or above. And we've got roughly 1,300 that's not. We're mid-year.
I'm a little confused of where we are.
Let me show you.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to go first grade and then into the whole school.
This is
And
all schools,
okay,
all schools.
yes, reading.
Okay,
Okay,
we've got
20.
this is your,
547.
these together, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we've got 619, 242, and 479. It comes approximately
Is that right?
1,300.
He's just. all
Total
first
student.
grade.
Okay.
Or more
So
grade
just
level
first grade,
behind.
the rest of them's.
That's,
Right.
folks, that's crisis numbers. I know, at least we hope that will improve for the rest of the year, but we're not even going to get half the kids on level.
Well, so one thing that I wanted to point out is that last year, the beginning of the year for iReady, we were at 9% proficient in math and 19% proficient in reading. So I know it's still not great numbers, but what I try to find positives, and I try to find patterns.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we've kind of noticed is that there's lots of good things happening. That's why I gave you the individual school reports, because you can kind of see some patterns with that. With principals, the last document that I gave you was what we recently did at a principals meeting. So we dove into our data to see patterns of why certain groups are not growing. And what we found was lots of turnover for staff. So some of those grade levels that aren't growing, they've had multiple years of substitute teachers or uncertified teachers, which hope, we now have we have a lot of certified teachers. The high school at one point was a concern. There's lots of places that were concerns. And so what we tried to do was with our coaching, we're trying to really provide more support in those areas. So those what we call hot spots.
I'm not faulting anything that we're doing.
Right,
I'm not faulting the teaching that's taking place.
right.
I've seen enough people come through here and talk to me about it that I know that they've got a handle on it. But the numbers are just alarming.
Mm-hmm.
We've 547 kids throughout the county are on level midway through this year, or close to being on
Correct.
level.
Which they are tested for end of the year standards right now. So you're
Right.
getting a picture of if they took the general summative assessment right now, those are how many kids that was score proficient. So we do have a little bit of time to grow. And that's why we're working really hard. When we met with our principals, we've been out meeting K-3 especially. I've met individually on their PL and planning times with schools to just kind of talk about the science of reading and intervention and what supports they need. We heard a lot of vocabulary and comprehensions is support that teachers are still asking for. So we're bringing in professional development as far as that goes. The knowledge-based piece is what, it's a different kind of student. So figuring out what works. We have Ashlock, we're seeing growth with that. If you look at Hart's scores, you had a class that was pretty much 0% that's now in the 60s because of the intensive intervention that's working there. So that's why I gave you the individual school reports as well, as we've got some really good things happening everywhere. It's just, there are pockets. You talk to
I'm
some
sure.
principals.
I can see the good stuff happening.
Yeah.
Jenny, but we're sitting here with, these were taken somewhere up through the end of January
Mhm.
and maybe in February.
We extended it. It should have ended around the end of January. We extended it because of the snow, and there was a couple of schools that had pretty much a flu epidemic in their schools, so they'd requested a week extension. But end of January.
Well, I'm looking here, we've got March and April, which would be 40 instructional days roughly.
Hmm.
And we all know that May is a different kind of month. And there's a lot of interruptions in the month of May. And the testing, I guess, takes place.
So one thing that's different this year is the writing assessment is the first 2 weeks of March. There's a new scoring system. It's a new format. We also have a new prompt style, which is a narrative writing prompt. So there's been lots of professional development, but that is a concern. Students are going to be tested almost 2 months earlier with writing.
Yeah.
And that factors into our ELA score. So that's what Miss Dunlap's been focusing on with her coaching, because it's so early. We want to make sure that those kids get good instruction and they get it earlier. The regular window is May, so it's the whole month of May for science, ELA, the second ELA portion, and math.
Yeah.
So that's why we've been out talking, to schools and at principals meetings. We talk is because if you look at the yellow, those are the students that almost have it. So if we could push those students with rigorous instruction and with interventions, and we've given several kind of tips or tricks maybe to certain groups for sure. There's testing blueprints that are out now. It tells you exactly how many test questions that the kids are tested on as far as standards go. So really hitting that, providing good instruction, test taking strategies. But if we could move those yellow kids, we could see some really good things. But it's crunch time.
Well, here's, I keep beating a dead horse here, but this is what we do in the school system. This already gives us the clearest picture of what we have. And I'm looking here at all schools and reading,
Mhm.
and I'll repeat the number, 547 are on or near grade level. And we're over halfway through our school year. But we've got 1,300 plus that will be from 1 to 3 levels behind. That's crisis stuff. Now, I keep talking about doing more summer school or whatever for these kids in 1 through 3. If they don't get it now, they're going to fall farther behind every year. And we don't have the finances to have a summer school if parents wanted to send them this and that. But here's what I'd like for you all to consider is that this is all part of their instructional day. Is that from talking with the principals when they would come in here, we would have anywhere from 20 minutes to 40 minutes of allotted instructional time for iReady skills.
Mhm.
That's 3 40-minute blocks. We'll say 40 minutes, 3 40-minute blocks for language arts in a week. That's, what is that? 2 hours and a half. And we had 2 40-minute blocks, an hour and a half for math. I just don't think that's enough instructional time to work on kids' skills. If I were an elementary principal, I would say, time out. We're going to work on these skills that these kids don't have right now. We're going to do it all day long. Someone had said, oh, kids get frustrated when they're on doing the iReady or for the remediation, they get frustrated. Well, they're frustrated when they're presented work that they don't have the basis for. That's the frustration. We need to go back to square one and reteach these kids to get them the skills. If they don't get the skills in the first grade, that what we're looking at, first grade.
All schools, I
If
think.
they
is
don't
like
get
that.
them here in the first, we don't have that many kids. That's all.
Yeah, it's all schools.
That's all kids. If they don't have those skills, they're going to get into that high school and not be able to do it. They're going to get in the 5th and 6th grade and not be able to do it. We need to go into crisis mode and say, we need to teach kids skills, and it's part of their instructional day, and it's more than 40 minutes or 20 minutes, 3 times a week.
Right.
This is just alarming, the number. And even if we improve for the next 2 months, I don't think we can expect to get half the kids on level. And then we're going to promote them to the next grade, and then they're farther behind. This is what we're paid to do. Somebody had made the statement that, well, you know, it's parents at home. Got to have that parent support. Well, let me tell you, my philosophy is, if there's a pothole in front of my house, the state road doesn't expect me to go out and fix that pothole. Parents and taxpayers organize the educational system to teach their kids. We can't say they don't have a good support group at home, because that's the reason they're not learning. We have to make sure that we're providing what they need, even if they have no parental help at home. Now, I just want to impress upon all of you that this is a crisis.
Mhm.
We're not looking at raising 3 or 4%, we're looking at 547 kids on level and 1,300 not. That's what we're looking at. So wow.
I think that's where we've been talking with principals. I think no one disagrees that there's a need, and that's why we're talking the talk of like a walk to intervention time next year, where across the school, a set time, 30 to 40 minutes, is already in their schedule where everyone in the building at that time is doing intervention.
Yeah.
Because, it worked before.
If I was a
It's been,
principal, I'd say,
it's nothing new,
we're
but
not teaching anything but reading and math here, or at least we're gonna teach it at least a half a day on their level. I'd take these kids that's one grade level behind and put them with other kids that's one grade level behind, and you teach them that math skill. I don't know how you do that. I'm not an elementary person. I don't know how you begin to schedule that, but I just want to impress upon you that we have a crisis here, and it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse as these kids progress through the school system. So I quit preaching. Again, I'm not faulting
I
you
understand.
or.
We have a lot of these
City.
folks that, within
And
our
this is not a
curriculum team.
new problem. This is a problem that Mr. Snyder and I we dealt with it at the high
Mhm.
school level. But we're here now and we've got to find a solution for this. And if we can't give them the summer school, the organized summer school, we need to be giving them more of it during the day, during the
Yeah.
regular school day.
And that falls under the House Bill 3035. So summer school is included. We are required now for the Third Grade Success Act to offer summer school for those students. And those intervention plans, they all receive intervention now for English language arts and mathematics if they get those letters and they have those cut scores according to the universal screener, which is already. And so our interventionists, we've worked a lot on trainings as far as how to schedule that and provide all of those services and how to be creative in the classroom. Small group instruction is going to have to happen. We're going to have to change our mindset because those yellow kids are just as important as the red and the dark red as far as moving them.
Yeah.
So we've got to change a little bit of our mindset. But our goal is a walk to intervention. Like I said, K-8 would be great, as well as, they get the iReady instruction, which is personalized learning. And then they have ASHLOC time that's not counted in the intervention time. So that's a research-based program as well, based on the science of reading.
Yeah.
And if you look at our scores and they do clipboard checks and there's various data as far as ASHLOC, if I could come back and talk about that as well. But if you look, our kids are making gains in the skill-based part of reading, the learning to read, the phonics, the phonemic awareness. It's when we are hitting that knowledge and comprehension that we're having to switch our gears. And we know that that's a need. So
Yeah, I just use math as an example. We can teach the procedure of math all the time. And I know we teach it differently in some cases than we used to. But if kids can't use that math to find a solution, they don't know math. If they can't find the solution to the math problem, they don't know math. Finding the solution is the purpose of math. Anyway, I'll quit preaching here. Again, I just want to stress that I don't fault anybody for their work, their approach. I think we've got the right mindset, but I'm just calling an alarm that we have a crisis. And it's not going to go away unless we do something differently than what we've been doing.
right.
And I would say that the elementary principals need to find a way to get these kids taught on their skill level more time.
And
I'll just leave it at that.
I will say, we just had a principals meeting. We had some great conversations. We dove into their data. I gave you an example of what we did, but they also are finally kind of stepping out of their comfort zones and talking about what's working, what's not working in their buildings. So we have some good things going on too, and hopefully they make that bridge and communicate. And Mr. Barnett always says, don't work in silos. I think we're finally getting there, as far as being collaborative. And I do encourage you to look at the individual schools, because if you look, it's broken down by grade level, and you'll see there are some schools, certain grade levels especially, that are doing some pretty great things.
And we had a
So-
conversation the other day about, putting our egos in check, and if something's working for Kim Blair at Hearts, let's reach out to Kim Blair. And if something's working for, Sue McComas at Midway, let's reach out to Sue McComas. And I've seen that starting to happen, that they are reaching out to their peers and their colleagues, and adjusting schedules accordingly. Ms. Shortridge's team has gotten together, and that's what they've been working on, is changing that paradigm with the elementary principals and, or even the middle school principals, to look at rearranging schedules, to look at double blocking English and math, to look at things of that nature, so there can be more intensive instruction. So that's her team's hard on that.
I wanted to mention that I think parents do play a part in this. Now, how much?
Yeah, they certainly do.
Early reading, as you know, rests so much on language development when they come to us from the home. And it's so important. When I was principal, I would tell my parents when they would come into kindergarten, well, what can we do? You want us to get books before they come? I said, just talk to your children, listen to them, have them talk in sentences. If you can develop that in their mind, reading is so much easier for them. It's hard to read something and you have no concept of what that is in your brain. Okay, that word, that sentence. So
Yeah, that's part of our science of reading. We just did training. That's what I've been going around to schools talking about, because our kindergartners are coming in with less vocab and background knowledge than they ever have had. And we have the data to kind of prove it. And one of the things that research says is that's how we acquire vocabulary, is not by reading, it's actually by listening. And we've been trying to talk to our teachers, bringing back those read alouds, the readers, theaters, that rich vocabulary from text, because we've gotten away from that. The state took a kind of a turn, and now we're back to, reading to kids, using that on grade level text, whether they can read on level or not. And I think that's in the data across the state, not just in our county, unfortunately.
and have them talk.
Yeah.
The more they talk, the more they'll know.
Yeah, kids score. The first, of course, is those that can read fluently and have a background knowledge of vocabulary or comprehension. But the second highest score as far as kids go is kids that have a background knowledge and no fluency. It's not those kids that are fluent readers. So language plays a huge role. And that's why, we're really trying to talk to our teachers to remind them, don't forget. And, just the other day I was walking in the halls here and I heard a kindergarten teacher reading a reading aloud, and it just, it makes a difference. Kids were using some pretty awesome words. So
Joni, I hope you come back when you get the end of the year result.
I hope it's better.
Bad news is not always terrible news. It gives you something to aim at. The kids who are going to be behind at the end of the year, bad news for them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm confident that we've got the team, that Mr. Barnett has got a handle on it. You certainly have a handle on it. I think almost all those principals have a handle on it. We've just got to strike this with a sense of urgency and find a solution now to teach those kids on their skill level.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about our people, as far as board office, principals, teachers, is that they're why people. They're not going to just settle with these scores. They want to know why.
Yeah.
So, and that's what our conversations have been about.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. I have one more thing I'd emailed. It's not really about iReady, but I'd emailed, it's about testing. Mr. Barnett a few months ago about the SAT school days coming up. And that's what the 11th graders take at the high school. The date that is set is April 17th. And I wanted to bring something to your attention. We did the PSAT and students did not go virtual. They stayed in the building, and 300 out of 800 students that day were absent. So it really affected our attendance. And I just wanted to see if you would consider maybe letting everyone be virtual on that date except for 11th graders. One reason is it's all digital this year, so it affects the access point as far as taking the test. And the other,
Mr. Barnett's call as far as I'm concerned.
okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Gaines. Thank you, Joni.
Good evening. My name is Mr. Steve Gaines, Director of Federal Programs. Ms. Martin, welcome. So I'm going over two different items. One is the summer school, planned summer school for this year, and the summer academy. So we'll do summer school first. Sheet right here, the less colorful sheet. So first of all, this is our fourth year offering a district-wide summer school. We've used ESSER funds for every year. This is the last year for ESSER funds for summer school. So as we think about the future and the third grade act, we'll have to kind of figure out ways to provide those services for those kids. But in terms of ESSER funding, this is the last go around for summer school in that capacity. I'll go over a couple highlights. We're going to have 4 different sites. We're going to have Hearts. That'll be the Ranger and Hearts kids. We'll have the Midway site. That's K-5 program for Midway and Duval kids. We'll have a central office site. That'll be Hamlin and West Hamlin. And then our last site will be the high school, which is our credit recovery for 9th through 12th graders. The high school kids will use Edgenuity, which is an online learning platform. They're currently using that right now, so we'll continue that over the summer. Of course, we'll have free transportation, free lunch. The dates of summer school is going to be Monday through Thursday, July 8th through August the 2nd. And for students, that'll be 9 to 2 o'clock each day from Monday through Thursday. If you go down a little bit farther, all summer school students will have access to their iPads, which is the first time for this year. Students will continue to work on iReady over the summer. We just got permission to keep that platform open. Students not attending summer school will also have access to their iPad. Parents will need to check those out the last 2 weeks of school at their specific school site. And once again, iReady will be available for those students as well. Parents will also have access to a list of activities to enhance reading and math skills. The county will have some instructional videos through Armstrong, Schoology, Facebook, including interpreting iReady results and the Ashlock reading series, and of course, some Schoology tutorials. Each site must have the following. One, they must have a theme. So if you look on the next page, this is just a sample of a theme and a curriculum from a past summer school site. This was 2 years ago, Guyan Valley Ranger site. So this is just basically what happens during the day and how things work. Of course, every site must have a daily schedule. Teachers must have daily lesson plans. Of course, the focus must be on ELA and math. Student and staff attendance is taken each day. K-5 students will have access to a pre and post-test assessment. And probably the best thing of all, we'll have 2 or 3 field trips per summer for each site. Any questions about summer school? So over the last 3 years, about 200 to 250 students come to summer school. We wish there's a lot more, but we've tried a lot of different things, a lot of fun activities. Lincoln County students just do not like to come during summer school. So we try to make it as fun as possible, but still, we still struggle with that. Probably less than 10% of our students' enrollment comes to summer school.
Yeah, Steve, enlighten me on the credit recovery. What's the parameters of that?
So if in May, all those students who have failed a course at the high school will receive credit recovery through Edgenuity. Edgenuity is an online platform that has all the courses that the state offers. So if they fail science 10th grade or science 11th grade or math 8th grade or 9th grade, 10th grade, we have that on credit recovery Edgenuity. So they log into Edgenuity. Each course is about 100 hours long. So they'll take the course. There's checks inside Edgenuity. They got to pass this lesson for this quiz, and it takes to the next level, to the next quiz. So what we did last year when we first bought it, we tried to find the most rigorous program we can, and it is rigorous. Our credit recovery numbers in terms of credits received have gone down dramatically over the last couple of years. And that is a true testament to the hard nature of the program.
paying for this with COVID funds.
ESSER funds, yeah.
What's our plan next year?
We have a lot of new discussions about how things are going to work for next year. Our credit recovery program costs about $25,000 ESSER funds. So we have to figure out, and Austin and I have been talking about this for the past 6 months about how to fund things. So we're gonna have to be very creative and kind of see what's the most need we have.
Honestly, if a student would take the time and dive into it, they'd be much better off just do what they're supposed to do during the
Yeah.
day, because this program is very rigorous.
Our old program, they could test out, if they can't, and then to do
Yeah.
it. They have to pass on courses.
No,
Why it's gone down, because they would just take the test over and over until they passed it without completing any of the coursework. Now they've got to complete the coursework.
So did the dropout rate increase?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's increased, but I would say it hasn't improved.
One thing I was noticing on here, it says free transportation, main roads only. You think has it ever been figured out or studied that if it was open more access, there'd be more people come?
Well, what we've done the last couple of years, if we have a set of students or who live in a offset of the main road, and we have the site coordinator who will hire probably the next couple of months, they say, hey, Peggy or Mr. Gaines, we have this group of kids who want to come. They live a little bit in a different section. Then of course we'll get a bus for those kids.
It's all based on need.
Yeah.
Have we had this summer school for K-5 last year?
Yeah, this is our 4th year for that. Yeah.
The thing that you said, something that struck me is that we have fun activities. If we're enticing them, getting there and having fun, they might as well just stay home if they're not working on skills.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a two-edged sword. If you make a summer school that's just ELA and math oriented, it's just like regular school. Kids won't come. So what we do is we entice them with different activities, and our field trips are educational in nature. And a lot of these kids and our site coordinators will tell you, this is the only time they have access to places outside of the county. So every year we make sure we take them to Books A Million and get them books and reading materials. And those kids have never been there, or if it's a swimming activity or a bowling activity, or even the state park, places like that, those kids never attend. So if we can offer something that will make a lasting impression, I know it has to be ELA and math all day, every day, but summer school should not be regular school. Yeah.
Really good job with like their cooking classes and they make it educational for the kids.
The after-school programs that are in session now, what's the funding source for that?
We have every school has an after-school program. Harts and Duval have a 21st Century grant for another 3 years, and everyone else is pretty much on ESSER funds. So that runs out as well for next year. So we're applying for new grants for after school in the next couple of months. We hope we get them. But once again, without the ESSER funding, a lot of our programs are going to have to be shelved or finding new ways to kind of offset the lack of funding. So for instance, summer school sites between $20,000 and $30,000 for a site. And we'll have to come up with something for, like Ms. Shortridge said, the Third Grade Act. We have to provide some type of summer enrichment for those K-3 students. So it won't be cheap. We got teachers, bus drivers, cooks, service personnel.
Will funding be provided for that from the state, or do we just
No,
their budget?
As a-
Grants in
yeah.
our budget.
so
Required but not funded.
yeah.
Is that right?
They said be creative. So we're gonna try to be creative as much as possible.
And Mr. Barnett was telling me that you all have the approach, kids can have the iPad if the parents come and
Yeah.
physically check them out for the summer.
Yes, sir.
And that they will have instruction, the iReady thing's open for them. They will have some instruction to do that. That's a start. That's actually, it's a very good start. We need to let parents know early
Yeah.
that iPad will be available for them. And I don't know, again, not being elementary, I'm handicapped. They can get on this and progress the iReady themselves and do that.
Yes, sir. Now, but you gotta be a little hesitant. You can't be on iReady more than 45 minutes a week. It's
A week?
a week for ELA and then 45 minutes for math.
Why?
That is the foundation of iReady in terms of the benefit. You get more benefit with a 45-minute per week session in ELA and math than if you did 5 hours that day. That's just what the data tells us from iReady. So this is what iReady has
That
told
makes
us.
no sense to me. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Those domains, so they have the games, there's scripts that the parents can read, there's actually games that they can print off and play or pull it up on the iPad.
Yeah, that's
There's
what I
lots-
think we need to
you
be
can get
doing,
lost
Jody,
in the resources.
is I say iReady because I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
but
think-
those programs, the parents need to know what those programs are, whether here's math programs that you can get on and do and work on your level. Here's language arts programs.
Is there going to be an opportunity for parents to actually come in and learn those things that Dave just talked
Well,
about?
those are one of the things that we're also doing. We're looking at, when we're talking about the videos through Armstrong, through, our website, through, just, I'll put them out on we're creating a YouTube channel so that these parents can have access to, here's how we do all this. Here's what you need to look for. Here's what.
And regardless, if they get on it, it's called iReady Central. We've already done a video on that. It should be posted. The parents can get in there and there's resources for free. You don't have to log in. You don't have to be tech savvy. You just go to that website and there's resources. If you log into iReady, it's way more personalized for your child or your student. Sorry, I didn't mean.
Yeah, I keep using iReady because I don't know these other programs are available, but we need that. You can get on YouTube and look at Thomas the Train for preschool kids. And they can be ready when they get preschool if they just watch Bob the Train,
Yeah.
not Thomas the Train, Bob the Train. My
So, yeah, that would be a good
two-year-old watches it
idea
every day.
to offer them different resources that it doesn't cost us anything to offer them resources that's already out in the ether, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
Parents need that guidance. As educators, we sometimes think everybody knows what we know. But
Yeah.
Be a good.
Things that they may not realize really can impact that regression or recoupment that's going to happen over summer break. Also listing activities at our local libraries. They have wonderful activities and using our community resources a little more. I don't think a lot of people really realize how much goes on in the summer at things like that. So we've talked about doing something like that. We can even post on the school's websites.
well, I have faith that you all will get it worked out. I do. It's kind of my job to point out what we need to, here's a problem. It's your all's job to fix it. So I'm confident that we're going to get there. So thank you all very much. You other board members have any other comments? Thank you all. I learned something every time you all talk to me.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, I thought you was finished.
Next is Summer Academy, our teaching academy. It's the colorful little sheet right there. The yellow and blue. So our summer academy is going to be June 10th through June 15th. We're hoping to have at least 100 teachers. That's pretty much half our staff. If we get that many, it's going to cost us about $15,000 a day for stipends. We'll use Title I money for that, 4 or 5 or 6 money. We'll take care of that. If you see the yellow represents in-county presenters. So we're trying to have at least half our presenters this year as in-county talent. And the blue is out-of-county personnel, for instance, like Carnegie and Khan Academy. So it starts June 10th. The first session is going to be technology and behavior modification on Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be Carnegie math and reading. Thursday is going to be classroom management and CPI. And Friday, we have a couple of different sessions of science of reading. We have Khan Academy, Schoology, STEM activities, and social and emotional learning. So that's kind of a tentative schedule for our summer academy. We may change some things up or may add some things based on staff personnel. So any questions about our summer academy?
Is that here?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be at the high school. Yeah. Yes, ma'am, we did.
Oh, good.
We had about 75 to 100 people show up, you know.
These are just general sessions that any teacher could benefit by,
Ms.
Yep.
Shortridge's-
regardless of the grade level.
Yeah.
Ms. Shortridge's team put together actually a survey and with Mr. Gaines and asked the teachers what's going to benefit you. Got their input from it. And then I wanted them to make sure that we take a look at our people that we have here locally, our homegrown talent to do a lot of these presenting. And some of the ones in blue, like the Carnegie and the Jennifer Ashlock, those are services that are included in in what we purchase as programs. So we're using mostly our people to present to our people.
Very cost effective this year. Any questions?
That's good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you and Joni. Thank you for taking your evening and coming and talking to me. Don't say anytime, we'll have your every week. All right. Moving on, item 4, approved minutes at the February 6th meeting. Do I have a motion?
Correction.
You got a correction?
On this last comment from the minutes from last time.
Okay,
Third page of it, yeah, of the
Okay.
green.
Down under comments and
Yeah, the comments
concerns.
concerns. So we need to finance another 3 million there, you see?
Yeah, and we're actually not financing it. We need to contribute.
Okay, so contribute 2 million, right?
Correct.
Okay.
okay. We got that down, so
I'll make a motion that we
Robin's going to
approve.
do that one.
That's second.
Okay,
A
you
motion.
motioned.
And
Wilson
Dr.
made the motion. Martin seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And 4-0. Under number 5, administrative, we have several items. Any discussion?
No, but I'm on section A. Does that matter? Section A is volunteers. I'm on that
Oh,
and
that's okay.
okay.
You won't have to recuse your.
Okay.
Oh, you
Just
can
note it.
pay now.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay you there, Jerry. Let me see, so this includes the policies, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Could I ask, Mr. Davis, you deal with the policies? Are you the main person on this? Okay. Well, okay. So can you explain the procedure of these policies? where do they begin? At the state level?
Yeah, yes, and we purchase Neola, and anytime there's legislative changes to the policy, Neola updates those policies. And then we have to take board action to, when we approve whatever changes were made via the.
Neola is a service that.
Right, yeah, yeah. But what if you wanted to add something to one of the policies? As long, you can change the policy if you don't change
You can
the
add your-
intent of it.
Yes, yes.
It's on public review.
Absolutely.
Right, right, but
Yes,
as long as you don't change the intent. of
correct.
it.
You can.
We
you
meet,
can-
Don, we
you can
met,
Make it
and
more
did all
stringent.
that.
Okay,
We met
Okay.
probably 2 months ago.
Okay.
Went through all these
We
policies.
probably need to do it again.
Yes.
So, well, how many more policies we gotta go through, Robin? Hundreds.
so these first three here, you're rescinding these, so
That's
they're gone, right?
right, and there's new policies replacing. them.
Okay, but not necessarily listed on this page right now,
Correct.
okay?
State policy.
So the new policies for 30-day public review, are these listed, those 5, right? And then the next group are just policy revisions. They're not new policies, right?
Right, and those would be the
Okay.
ones in Neola updated.
Okay, so when I was looking at the one concerning CPR, okay, on that one, that's this, whatever color this is, this
Salmon?
salmon or something, I don't know what it is.
We'll call it salmon.
Okay. I noticed they, at the bottom, the AED, is marked out, that instruction in AED. Do you know whether that's covered anywhere else?
I do not. I know that, we do, the coaches and even staff members, they get that training through the SSAC, because you have to have an AED close at athletic events and practices. And so there's a training online that they have to take that's required for them to take.
But our staffs are not.
Yeah, yes, they do. All our staff take AED course on safe school
It's all safe.
Okay,
every year. They get a
Okay.
refresher every year.
okay, but it's not necessarily covered in this policy. Not this policy, but maybe in another policy. But you don't know. And
Yeah.
I don't know either.
That policy is, we have several trainings, several hours worth of trainings that the staff have to complete every year at the beginning of the school year.
But that's included with the CPR.
And we even have to pass that. We even have to take the course and pass it ourselves on AED.
Okay.
She kind of talks you through she talks you through the whole process if you really use it.
Any other discussion on administrative items?
It's required courses of instruction. It says new policy. This is the yellow, okay? Now, all this is some additions to the required courses of instructions, right? Because this covers, this is the yellow. It covers 1 year of instruction in history, West Virginia history. And it goes on to talk about health education, 6 through 12. And then it talks about a full week of instruction called Freedom Week. Okay, now,
Yes,
but
that's,
this is just,
that's in policy 2510.
okay, this is just in addition to that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Any more questions?
Anybody else? If not, I'll ask for a motion, a second to approve the administrative items.
So moved.
Snyder makes the motion.
Second.
Wilson seconds. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? And it's 4-0. That brings us to the finance section. Any discussion?
Just that I would, I think I've already talked to Mr. Lucas. I had some questions on this monthly statement, but I think he's going to try to cover. I'll ask questions on Friday about this because we're going to be talking about finance. So I don't have any questions.
I'll ask for a motion in a second to approve. Martin makes the motion.
I kind of talked about it, yeah.
I second. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Snyder seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed? Brings us to the personnel section, the blue sheet. Any discussion? If no discussion, I'll ask for a motion in a second. Don't be shy.
So moved.
I say,
Wilson, Martin. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Any opposed? None. Before we go into executive session on student discipline, we're going to drop down to talk about comments and concerns. And we'll ask Mr. Barnett to address those items.
Obviously, if you've seen the Duval building is on the ground and they're hauling things off. So that's always, that's good. They've really done a fantastic job of getting that thing down quickly. And I was up there, stopped by there this evening on my way down, and they had a big baler there that they were using for the all the scrap metal, and that was pretty impressive to watch. That thing just grabbed that metal and it wrapped it up, but then the load into the trucks. We have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for next week for the new school. We're doing back-to-back meetings. We're doing a progress meeting on the demo and a new construction meeting on the same day. So we'll have that meeting and that will get the ball rolling there as far as when start times are and just get it moving. Everything's going as scheduled. I think the demo team's actually a little bit ahead of schedule. They've worked tirelessly and it's been good. We put out as many bricks as we can possibly put out, and we've had folks come by and get carloads of them. So I hope everybody that wanted one got one. Of course, again, we couldn't promise that. I know the news said last week we were selling them, and by no stretch of the imagination are we selling them. But people have been very supportive. A lot of good comments on the new building and the renderings that they see on our website. So we're real excited about it. The kids deserve it. Although I got to tell you, I was asked the question by one of the reporters if I would miss, or if it would make it easier on us to run a board of education without a school in here. And I said, I got to tell you, I'll miss my little ones giving me high fives and coming up and saying hello to me every morning. And that's been pretty enjoyable here with these little guys here. It gets a little noisy from time to time. We might be trying to have a meeting and they're in there having lunch, and it sounds like a locomotive, but by and large, I feel badly for them because they're in rooms with no windows and very little extra things. They're having lunch in a building with a garage door in it, and temperature fluctuates so much in there. And but the teachers here and the staff have been very diligent. They've just been troopers about taking what they have and making the best of it. And the kids feel safe. What I see, the kids are happy. But I'm just looking forward to the day when they can walk into somewhere, a brand new building, and just be really excited and build that sense of their own school spirit.
Good. Can you give us an update on the playground status?
Playgrounds, as far as I think the one at West Hamlin is getting ready to, they're getting ready to demo that one. There's some other pieces of equipment we're looking at here in the next few days. Then as they finish that one, they'll move on to the next one. It'll be a process.
All right. I know social media was hot on playgrounds today. So anybody have anything else? If
Testing
not,
dates and PSAT and GSA is what Ms. Shortridge referred to a while ago, and just allowing those students who aren't testing to be virtual, I think is going to be beneficial to us and the students who are testing, because there are no disruptions. The bandwidth, we don't have to worry about it going in and out while they're trying, because everything's online. And if internet goes out and it locks them down, then we've got issues. And the technology team, actually, we had that issue early on, because if the power would go out here, the internet went out across the county, because all the servers are housed here. But we purchased a Generac just for the technology, so that if the power goes out, it doesn't affect everybody across the county, that it kicks on and still runs the servers and people can still be on the internet.
But when are these dates of these,
Yes. Ms. Shortridge?
On April 17th, the 11th graders only, it's the SAT school day.
April 24th is the PSAT. It's not required, but we like to use it for the data. So that's for 9th and 10th graders. The GSA for 3 through 8 and the DLM, the alternate assessment windows are the same. So it's the whole month of May.
Okay.
Usually, most schools chose the second week of May for their windows. Those do differ a little. And then the writing assessment, again, is different this year. So it's the first 2 weeks of March. We have a couple schools also taking the NAEP assessment, and that's coming up. So Midway, Harts, and Hamlin, it's within the next 3 weeks. I can email you those exact dates. They're on my desk back there.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Where they were in the school year.
It's 4th
So-
grade mostly that's taking NAEP this year.
Anybody have anything else? If not, I'll make a motion that we enter an executive session to discuss the student discipline issue.
Second.
Bill motions, Wilson seconds. The time is 7:06. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? None. And we will adjourn to go into executive session.